Hi, everybody. It's Alan Lepofsky here from Constellation Research, and this is my weekly social business collaboration news roundup for the week ending September 4th. Let's start off with a bunch of good things happening over at Google. Obviously, the world was talking lots about the new Google logo design. We'll leave that out of this newscast and dive right into their collaboration features. The first thing we see is that the Google Apps Marketplace got a brand new look this week. Why don't we, instead of looking at a static picture, dive right in and actually look at it? So here we are in the marketplace. You can see all sorts of different very highly graphical logos so that you can jump in and add all these different tools to your Google environment. We can go right into our area of interest, which is the productivity apps, and you can see mind mapping and charts and project management and things. We can even dive deeper. They've got some subcategories here. Let's get right into task management, which you all know I cover, and we can see things like teamwork and Asana and Podio, and I know there's Smartsheet in here and lots of others. So I encourage you to take a look at the new Google Apps Marketplace. Continuing with Google, they added a whole bunch of new features to Google Docs. One of the first things they've added is they make it easier to bring in information. They call it research, but basically it's bringing in information from Google searches right into your documents. I'll show you that in just a second. They've added voice typing, which I'll also show you, and ways to visualize information in spreadsheets a lot easier. I'm going to let you come back and watch this video for that. And they've made changes to forms, and they've actually added new templates as well. So tons of new things happening in Google Docs. Again, at the end of this, I'll give you guys the URLs to all these. You can come back and watch in more detail. But okay, so let's go take a look at a few of those new features. So here I am. I'm in a Google Doc, and I've added the term Ultimate Frisbee. Now, instead of going off to a separate tab or a separate browser and searching for some information, right from here, I can just go Tools, Research, and over on the sidebar, it's going to bring up information for me about Ultimate Frisbee. I can change this to be images or just quotes or things from the dictionary, whatever I'd like it to be. When I look at one of the results, I can just grab this and I can either see what that web page is going to look like. I can insert a link, so now that my term Ultimate Frisbee is going to link right back to that page. I could come in here and add a link to the Wikipedia page. I could scroll back up. I could look at some images. I could drag that image right onto the page and all sorts of really interesting things. And you see it adds the little citation there, the little #1, so you can get right to it. So Google making it easier to build documents or get information or content into your documents. The second thing they added was that voice typing. So I can come in here, click to speak. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, period. New line. And here we go, there's more text, period. Okay, this is going to make my life a lot easier, exclamation point. All right, so there you go, just two new features of Google Docs. But let's move on from the Google world. Next up is a new tool that's just launched this week called Guru. And Guru got $2.7 million in funding this week, so congratulations to the founders, Rick and Marshall. You guys, wishing you luck. Let me go show everybody what Guru is really quickly. Guru is a layer or a web browser extension that layers on top of web pages information that your company has stored. So when you and your colleagues are researching something or creating information about something, you put content into these simple, they call them cards. So it might be notes about a client, it may be information about a competitor, and then when you're surfing different web pages, that information can pop up. So let me show you what I mean about that. So here I am. Well, here, let's go back over to this TechCrunch page. Let's start here. And in this browser extension, I'm going to click Guru, and you're going to see that it does not have any information. So me and my colleagues have not created any information about TechCrunch. But if I go over to the Constellation page, here's Constellation Research, and I click Guru, you can see that these three cards have popped up. Now these are cards that I created. You click plus, and you can add new content, and you can mention things about people or mention things about companies, and then when you find matching URLs, it's going to pop up. It's a really interesting concept. I like the contextual awareness of what's going on. It's just extremely manual at the moment. So I think as they move forward, obviously this information needs to be dynamic and pulled from appropriate resources. If I'm on the Constellation research site, it needs to be able to pull up all of that information about Constellation for me. But they're getting started, and it's an interesting tool, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go in the collaboration space. Let's move on to Microsoft. Big announcement from Microsoft this week. They acquired Volumetrics, company you may not have heard of, but what they do is they specialize in what it's called organizational analytics. What that means is it's the things that are happening between your people, between emails they're sending, meetings they're having, documents they're creating. Earlier this year, you heard me talk a lot about Delve Organizational Analytics. This acquisition is going to be related directly to that. So I don't want to steal too much thunder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point you to a quick blog post I did specifically about this acquisition, and it'll walk you through in just 2 or 3 minutes about where that's going to go. Essentially, the summary of this is I'm glad to see Microsoft continuing to build upon the integration of analytics and collaboration, something that's near and dear to my heart. Another quick thing about Microsoft, which I find really interesting, they have created their first industry vertical specific solution for Office 365. It's for the legal industry. And what's interesting about this, it actually came from internal use of Microsoft's own legal department getting Office 365 to do what they needed to do for them. So then they took that and they packaged that up. Currently, that's the only specific vertical for Office 365. So I think they need to be creating a lot more of those, and I look forward to seeing where Microsoft goes with that. Next up, VMworld was this week. You can look at my colleagues' blog posts, people like Holger Mueller, who were in attendance at VMworld, find out a lot more about what happened with VMware. But what I want to quickly mention is the integration of Vera, which is secure document sharing, with VMware. What they've done is they've announced a partnership where directly from VMware's Universal Administration Console, you'll be able to deploy the Vera secure document solution to your employees. So people will be able to have that security pushed down to them through those virtual environments. Really neat happening there. Moving over to the world of project management, Liquid Planner, a company you've heard me cover in the past, introduced a new vice president of marketing. So congratulations, Ashish, on joining Liz and the rest of the company there. And Liquid Planner also released a couple new features this week. Things like line item expenses that can roll up to the projects and the tasks that are going on. Again, I'll provide the URLs to these afterwards. You can go look, but it's great to see that Liquid Planner is doing well and hiring lots of new people. On the file sharing front, Ignite, one of the leading secure enterprise file vendors, announced Office 365 integration this week. Quite straightforward. It's what you'd expect. From Office 365, you can store and share information into Ignite, and vice versa. From Ignite, you can open and edit and co-author information using Office 365 applications. Again, URL will be available for you to find out more information about that. Jumping back to the project management world, Flow introduced this week the addition of group chat. So Flow, which in the past has been more about the task side of things, project management and task management, has added group chat. So essentially you can have channels of information here, a la, the ever so popular Slack. So everyone is sort of building these group channels. You heard me last week introduce a new company, River, in this space, and there's a dozen others. And so Flow has also got into the group chat space, as has Socialcast from VMware. This news is a little bit old. It's actually a couple weeks old, but I apologize to the Socialcast team. I missed it. But since I was covering Flow's edition of chat, I thought I would make sure to introduce Socialcast's edition of chat. So Socialcast, one of the original enterprise social networks back in the days of Yammer and things when that first got started, they were acquired by VMware, and it's great to see that VMware is adding new features like chat to that client. Moving on, Podio, one of my favorite collaboration platforms, added a really cool new feature called reference badges. A little bit geeky, but essentially you can link together two Podio applications, and now you can get a lot more information about those linkages. I've actually created a video that shows that, and I will point that out to you. But for people using the Podio product, I think they're really going to appreciate that new feature. And a big announcement this week, Apple and Cisco announced a partnership. There's lots of different things about this partnership. The only part I'm going to touch on for you guys is they say here that Cisco will be delivering specifically optimized OS experiences for collaboration tools such as Cisco Spark, Telepresence, and WebEx. So they want to make seamless team collaboration and reinvent the meeting experience. So I look forward to seeing where this goes between Cisco and Apple. For those of you that, most of you have obviously heard of WebEx, you may not have heard of Cisco Spark. Cisco Spark is their group sort of chat and collaboration application as well. Again, I mentioned everyone's kind of creating Asana-like, or sorry, not Asana, Slack-like tools these days, and this is yet another one. So there you go. And rounding things off this week, last but not least, I want to mention that LinkedIn has improved the internal messaging inside their application. This is long overdue. It has always been a sore spot, and you have such great contacts and connections and professional connections over in LinkedIn. Now the messaging platform, the email and the contacts and sort of the lightweight communication back and forth between you will be much improved. Not only have they made it a little bit more chat-like, of course, this day and age, they've added things like emojis and GIFs. I will not comment on what I think of that, but hey, more power to them. Everybody likes a good emoji now and then. So there we go. I hope you like the news coming out of companies like Google and Microsoft and new entrants like Guru and file sharing vendors like Ignite and lots of task management news for this week. I'll be back next week. Let me know if you have any news in the social task management or collaboration space that you want me to cover. Thanks, and have a great weekend.